Love Notes and Highways is the EP that we get from New Jersey-based band Misery Loves Company. Now, you may have heard me talking about them before. I've definitely repped their merch. I shot them when they came actually here to Connecticut, but this is an entirely different band on this EP, and it really shows. They're on a record label, Revival Records, and the amount of production that went into this and the amount of thought that went into this EP to change things around and enhance some of the songs that were on their first release of that EP is definitely noticeable on here. It's a huge step up, and it's everything that you could want from the whole emo revival scene. It starts off with this song called Save Me From Myself, where it's this kind of dark intro track, very kind of haunting, and goes right into things and kind of kicks things off. Getting really big vibes of bands like The Used, for instance, particularly on that track from my favorite album, Lies for the Liars. You really kind of hear that on that. The vocalist on this album is absolutely fantastic. He's definitely got a nice range and kind of got that creepy style to his voice that you could want. There's a lot of these tracks, again, were on the original EP that they put out before they were on a label or anything, and they've definitely changed things up, especially my favorite song on here, which is called To Whom It May Concern. There's they've kind of rearranged it a little bit, and it gets darker and it gets heavier. And it's definitely something that I enjoy, and I think will appeal to a lot more people as it has. The song All Used Up has this kind of cool electronic manipulation in the intro to that track, which I think it kind of enhances that as well and did a better job. I think it flows better. I think the vocal work itself, even within the last year, I mean, that first EP before they were on a record label with a completely different band. They've got a new bassist, they've got a new drummer. Everything has kind of changed up a bit, and this is a fantastic representation of what this new band can do. There's also 2 new tracks on here, which actually I think they did a great job for: Goodbye Forever and Beautiful Tragedy. Out of those 2, Beautiful Tragedy is probably my favorite. It's actually probably tied at this point for being my favorite song off of that they've done, compared to Whom It May Concern, which still think is kind of my favorite because I just like that intro, the way that song kind of kicks off. But Beautiful Tragedy definitely gives me really vibes of kind of early to mid Aiden, kind of when they started moving more towards horror punk, and away from their kind of screamo roots, which is kind of where we find in Misery Loves Company. They've kind of in that nice little niche of not quite metalcore, not quite screamo, not quite post-hardcore, not quite horror punk, not quite punk. They mix in so much that's going on. I mean, like I said, it's very reminiscent. If you're a fan of My Chemical Romance, The Used, circa Lies for the Liars, I would even say Aiden, AFI, anything like that, you definitely should check them out. They're definitely a band to watch, and this EP really shows that they know what to do and they know how to write a song. And honestly, I think Beautiful Tragedy is a better written song than some of the other ones on here in general. It feels more like a written track, I should say. And I think that they did an excellent job with that. Just like I said with the last EP, the first time I reviewed the unreleased EP, the only criticism I really have is that it left me wanting more, and that's not a bad thing. That's kind of selfish of me, because that just means I want to hear more from this band, because I know that they can do well. This is such a good EP that I know that they can produce more, and I can't wait to see them put out a completely full-length album from this and to see what they get. Only one other minor thing I would say, which I guess makes sense on an EP, not so much, would probably be better worked into a full-length album, is I think there could have been a little bit of an interlude track between some of the songs here, because it kind of goes from a song that's very kind of busy to another song that's kind of starts off busy, and I think it kind of would have been cool to have a bit of an intro to that, or interlude to that. They do have a little bit of an outro in one of the songs, which I think works well to that song to kind of kick off to the next one. But I mean, as far as criticism, that's really all I can get. I mean, it's hard to really imagine that this band has been, I mean, the band itself has been around for about a year now or so, I think, and the band in this iteration has only been around for a few months at this point, and they've already produced something that's this well done. I mean, they are really a band to check out. I've been listening to this. It's excellent. You can pick it up. Again, it's on Revival Records, a fantastic label. Check it out. Misery Loves Company, Love Notes and Highways.